A long tradition of service with Phillips 66 petroleum products. And Griffin Oil doesn't stop there. Griffin also gives you fast, efficient delivery with radio dispatch trucks. Griffin Oil Company, supplier of Phillips 66 gasolines, diesel fuel, home heating oil, motor oils, and lubricants. The finest products for the home, farm, and industry are just a phone call away. Call Griffin Oil Company at 735-4911. Griffin Oil Company, distributors of Phillips 66 in Goldsboro and Wayne County.
Just wait until you can relax on a new mattress from Dreammakers. Hi, I'm Sharon Weisiger, manager of Dreammakers, your one-stop sleep shop. We offer you quality bedding products at the lowest prices around. We have conventional and waterbed mattresses, linens, futons, furniture, and more. When you visit Dreammakers, I promise you'll get personal service and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Take advantage of our free local delivery. Come see us today and start resting better tonight. Dreammaker Sleep Center, 1003 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro.
Well, we should see lots of bright sunshine across the area today, along with seasonably mild temperatures. We'll have light winds and highs up to around 66 to 71. Tonight, we'll have mostly clear skies overall as high pressure sits right over the area. That'll leave us calm and cool with lows in the low to mid-40s. On Tuesday, that high will start to pull off to the east. We'll have increasing cloudiness, especially during the afternoon and evening. Should be a little warmer tomorrow as well, with highs up to 70 to 75. I'm Mike Moss at the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Don't let the kids have all the fun. Make them clean up their rooms and check out our website, WGBR.com. Greetings to you, conversationalists all across the fruited plain. It's amazing, but we're here. We are actually on the air. Tough to believe, but we made it today, ladies and gentlemen. Rush Limbaugh and the Excellence in Broadcasting Network looking forward to a full 3 hours of fun, frolic, frivolity, as well as serious discussions of all the issues that matter. Here's the telephone number if you'd like to be on the program. 800-282-2882. Mr. Snerdley is back from a weekend jaunt. Where did you go? Seattle? Went out to Seattle for a weekend. That's some weekend coast to coast. You got to figure 11 or 12 hours spent on an airplane. I hope the time you spent out there was productive. Well, in a relaxed way, of course. Here's the email address if you'd like to get your 2 cents in that way. It is rush@eibnet.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen. The Sunday talk shows were active yesterday with the three amigos, Emmanuel, Carville, and Bagala, all now able to focus on that partisan cancer again since the Paula Jones case. Actually, there's a fourth member. Ann Lewis was out there yesterday, too. And I want to start off with just some sound bites from what these people are saying, because they're squirming. They are nervous. Some of this stuff is really unbelievable. And it just makes you ask even more, where are the American people on this, or at least the 60 to 70% who think everything's fine. Also, big news over the weekend about a couple of United States companies selling missile technology with the approval of the president to the government of China. One of the companies involved is run by a heavy contributor to the Democratic National Committee. It was in the New York Times on Saturday, a story by Jeff Gerber.
People are insecure on some level. And
the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and guess what? Despite dire predictions, El Nino delivered a winter that was no costlier than either of the previous two winters in the United States. No costlier. In other words, the weather might have been worse in certain areas this past winter than it was in previous winters, but in those previous winters, there was equally as bad weather. We just don't remember it as much because it wasn't associated with some phenomenon which actually is not a phenomenon since it regularly occurs, called El Nino. We'll get into the details of that as well. Also, I think Madonna has found the need to respond to me because she's in the press today saying that she wants the world to know that the father of her child may not be her husband, but he's still a big part of her life. She defends the charge that she basically hunted a stud in Central Park. We'll have the details of that. Also, one of the killers in Jonesboro, Arkansas, is apparently not eating, not drinking. He's got dry, cracked lips, and his mother is worried about it. He's sorry. Which, I have another story today which indicates that counts for a lot. A presidential poll. A full 55, 60% of the American people, if President Clinton would just say sorry for all this, it'd be cool. Everything would be okay. Sorry counts for a lot in the United States today. Let's first, though, go to the Sunday shows. I want you to listen to actually 3 humorous bits here. They are humorous not in the sense that what you hear said is funny. They are funny if you listen to the attitudes and the squeezed nature of the answers here, given first off by Ann Lewis, who was on Fox News Sunday with Tony Snow. The first question from Tony Snow is, if you were in a workplace situation, Ms. Lewis, your boss invites you in a room, exposes himself, asks you to perform a sexual act, would you consider that harassment?
Are you starting to say, if the allegations were true, would I consider it harassment?
Yes.
And I guess I'd say, if the kind of allegations you just made were true, I would consider it bumptious. But the key for me would also be whether or not it ever was repeated and whether it was continued. Now, that's my personal reaction. There are reasons why we have legal rulings so that this doesn't just require personal reaction.
So just once is okay?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Just once is okay?
No, that's what I said. I said it was bumptious.
But
whether or not we're talking here about a legal issue.
I know, but Ann, bumptious means conceited or self-assertive. Is that all that is?
No, but whether or not it is legally actionable, that's the difference. I don't want to tell you, you're taking a flying leap from obnoxious behavior to legally actionable.
Stop. See, my friends, listen to her answer. What happened, whether it's right or wrong, doesn't make any difference. Whether we can legally get away with it is all that counts. Now, you know Ann Lewis doesn't live her life this way. You know Ann Lewis would not let her husband live his life this way, or any of her sons, if she has any, I don't even know. But if whoever her boss is in the White House, hell, it may be Clinton for all I know, she wouldn't let her boss get away with this on the grounds that, well, it's a legal issue here. Whether or not it's legally actionable is the difference. What a cop-out. These people are humiliating themselves, because I will guarantee you that her heart of hearts and in her mind of minds, Ann Lewis doesn't believe any of this. But what they're doing, my friends, is confirming what I've always told you. They look at things in the White House through that prism of legality. Can they get away with it or can they not? And if they think they can, they'll do it. If they don't think they can, they won't do it. It doesn't matter whether it's a proper thing to do, a moral thing to do, an ethical thing to do. I love pointing this out to you. These people are just squirming. You can just sense it. Here's another pretty good squirm, because the bottom line here, after you hear this next one from Carville, who was on Meet the Depressed yesterday with Tim Russert. And Russert says, last week, Bill Moyers was on this show, Mr. Carville, and he said that the president has a credibility problem. He said that Clinton told the country that he did not have an affair with Jennifer Flowers, and we now know that he admitted he had an affair in his deposition. Here's Carville's response.
Not exactly true, Tim, because what they said is that you have sex, and they defined sex in the broadest, in the most broadest terms, and you know that also.
But you don't think the president or you...
What I was told is it was groping in a bar. Well, if I grope with somebody in a bar, I don't regard that as sex. I mean, I think I know the definition as well as anybody.
You don't think the country had heard Bill Clinton, or he had given them the impression that Jennifer Flowers' story was not true?
I don't think the Jennifer Flowers story was true. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you. He didn't recognize the voice on the phone. She said they had a 12-year affair. And I think what I was told he said in the deposition in Time magazine was they groped in a bar in Little Rock in 1977. I don't know what, you know, so no, that's not my, if I groped with somebody in a bar in 1977, I don't call that having sex.
What's the point? He's admitting, hey, they groped in a bar. The president was married. He's got a daughter at home. The defense that's the standard that we've all been reduced to now. The standard that we've been reduced to is defining sex so that whatever Clinton does isn't. And the admission here is they groped in a bar. 1977, one time they groped in a bar. So what? That's not sex. I think I know the definition of sex. I look at it all the time. It's not, and if you know what as well as I do, Tim, it's not that I groped with somebody in a bar in 1977. I don't call that having sex. Ergo, Mr. Carville admits that the president groped Jennifer Flowers in a bar in 1977. The things that these people, either inadvertently or because they have no choice, admit to as a means of defense of the president. Stunning. Now, next up is Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel also on Meet the Press with Tim Russert. Here's the question. Why has the president asserted executive privilege as broadly as Richard Nixon, prohibiting his aides from testifying and telling everything they know? And by the way, I want to go back to this one because this was big news. The president's in Africa. He's asked about executive privilege. I don't know anything about that. You'll have to ask the people responsible for that. He's the one that claims it. He's in Africa claiming he doesn't even know if it's been claimed. And nobody can claim executive privilege but him. Then he was asked about whether or not it's been claimed for Hillary as well. I didn't know about that till I read about it in the paper. He was in Senegal or Rwanda or where, Botswana, I don't know, but he read it in the paper. Maybe it was Ghana. Anyway, this is really twisting and turning. This is Rahm Emanuel, and this is there's nothing to spin here, folks. This is just inept. Listen to this.
Tim, neither you or I know whether the president has asserted executive privilege. And if
Do you deny he has?
We don't know whether he has. It's under seal. I don't know, and we don't know if he has, whether he has or what he has done.
But Mr. Emanuel, when you know something is not true, you're the first to come to the press and say that's not true. You can clear up this morning by saying the president has not asserted executive privilege.
What I know is A, it's under seal, and B, it's something we can't discuss. That is what I know. And it is a hypothetical discussion, given we're not able to discuss it under seal.
The president can say he's asserted executive privilege.
The president can. I'm not the president, and I can't talk.
He says talk to you.
Right. That would be the first if you ever did that.
Now, the bottom is they have claimed it. There's no question about it. They don't want anybody to know it officially because of how bad it looks. They don't want the comparisons to Nixon. And yet, here is a man who said that he's going to have the most ethical administration in history, that he's going to be forthcoming with all the answers sooner rather than later. And they won't even come forth and tell the American people whether they've claimed executive privilege. And Rahm Emanuel, with his pompous, arrogant attitude of his, actually, hey, it's under seal. We can't talk about it. There's nothing, again, stopping the president. Just because it's under seal doesn't mean the president's under a gag order. There's no gag order here. There's nobody telling the president what he can and can't say regarding executive privilege. They just don't want you to know it, folks, because they know how bad it looks. They know that it's specious. They know it has no chance of winning in court. It's nothing more than a delaying tactic. This is the biggest bunch of dishonest, sniveling, arrogant, bumptious people that have ever come down the pipe. And it just continues to be amazingly frustrating that so many people hear this and say, yeah, leave him alone. He's only trying to do what's right for America and so forth. Anyway, we got to take a break here. We'll be back, get into all the other stuff, your phone calls as well. Oh, I can't let this go because the linkage here is just too good. Time magazine, there's a story out this week. You've I'm sure heard about this by now. The president says in an interview with Walter Isaacson of Time magazine that he wanted this trial, this Paula Jones trial, to come out. He wanted it to happen. He wanted his side to be told. He said, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. After having been through what I've been through, I would have wanted to put all my evidence before 12 of my fellow citizens. He did everything in his power to stop this trial from occurring. He is the one, ladies and gentlemen, who filed for summary judgment. He's the one who filed for the case to be dismissed. This man, the gall is incredible. On the one hand, he files a motion for summary judgment, which in essence is asking the judge to throw the case out. Now, after it's been thrown out, he's acting like he's been victimized. I wanted to tell my story in court. I wanted 12 of my fellow citizens to hear my innocence. But that opportunity's been denied me. I guess it's all right for the presidency, but I want. This is just incredible. It gets more and more incredible all the time. Thank goodness it does. We'll take a break now. Be back with more phone calls in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You know, my friends, for several years now, you've been hearing commercials on this program about Blanchard and Company, America's largest, most respected precious metals investment firm. Blanchard is the world's leading dealer of American Eagle gold bullion coins, the only gold bullion coins made with gold mined right here in America and guaranteed by the U.S. government for weight, content, and purity. Blanchard is not a hard sell operation. Their style is to inform and educate. They have a clear understanding of the economic and political factors that impact the markets. Now, if gold's a part of your personal investment strategy, or if you're thinking about adding gold to your portfolio, then call the good people at Blanchard.
Gold recently hit an 18-year low, making now an ideal time to invest in gold American Eagles. If you want to buy low and sell high, call Blanchard at 1-800-285-5466. That's toll-free 1-800-285-5466. 1-800-285-5466.
I'm William Shatner. I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of things, but never anything like this. A service called Priceline that lets you name your own price for airline tickets. Imagine, you name your own price for airline tickets and let the airlines pick the flights. Within an hour, you find out if Priceline can get you a seat on one of the major airlines at your price. So name your own price for airline tickets. You know, this could be big, really big.
Call 1-800-PRICELINE or visit us on the web at Priceline.com.
Hello, folks. This is Keith Murray, owner and general manager of Toyota Goldsboro. If you haven't heard, I recently purchased a Toyota dealership in Goldsboro and assumed the daily operations January 1st. Since buying the Toyota store, I've surrounded myself with some of the best Toyota managers and salespeople in eastern North Carolina. My staff and I bring over 100 years of Toyota experience to Goldsboro. Since our arrival in Goldsboro, the local response has been super. Our volume of business continues to grow each month. If you haven't been out to see us, I invite you all to come out and see what we're doing. At Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, we're doing business the old-fashioned way. We're very upfront, no slick talk, no gimmicks, no tricks. Now, I know you can buy a Toyota at a lot of other places, but you'll never be treated more fairly than here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro. Toyota Goldsboro, we're not number one, you are. Come on out and see us at Toyota Goldsboro, where the selection is great, and so is our attitude. I'm Keith Murray for Toyota Goldsboro. You'll love the way we do business, I'll guarantee you.
My cousin Dale's got to drive me around the bend.
Tell me about last week.
Well, we all went to the cafeteria. It took us 3 hours.
In the line.
And the whole time he was eating, Dale kept mumbling, I should have gotten the chicken.
He shouldn't even go to a cafeteria. He has so much trouble making up his mind.
Well, he can't eat at his house. It's too uncomfortable. Hot as blazes in the summer, and in the winter...
You could hang meat.
All because Dale can't decide which air conditioning man to call.
Can't trust any of them, he says.
He is so wrong.
We told him about Jackson and Son.
For over 20 years, they've been doing a great job keeping people comfortable.
The best people in town work for Jackson, and they're available 24 hours a day. Plus, they install only the best equipment.
Like the high-efficiency train comfort system.
It's hard to stop a train.
We told Dale that he didn't even need to put a penny down. Jackson and Sons will finance the whole thing. This decision is a no-brainer.
So what finally happened? Did he call?
Absolutely, and he's so pleased with his decision, he says he's a new man. This afternoon, he's going to try out the Baskin-Robbins.
Call Jackson and Sons today. They're your comfort specialists.
WGBR.
Big op-ed piece in the New York Times yesterday, Robert B. Rice. Sure, well, you see that? Oh, can you believe? I mean, here's a guy who has to take. I mean, the guy may as well try to rewrite the Communist Manifesto, 1998. I mean, it wasn't just about that though. I mean, he was all upset that because there's so much affluence that the airlines are adding more business class and first class seats and that is resulting in fewer coach seats, and that the coach seats that remain in these airplanes now are even narrower and have less leg room. And he uses that as a launching pad to illustrate how the middle class is getting squeezed throughout this big economic boom, and how it's becoming more a system of haves and have-nots. I mean, I read it, and I'll tell you what, when I finished reading it, I said, Rush, are you on drugs reading this? I was asking myself, because this seemed like the most pointless. How did the New York Times even, after they read this, determine it was suitable for publishing? I said, what is the point? What is the guy so upset at? Can a guy not look happiness in the face and see anything but positive things? What is bothering this guy? And that's why I say he has to be wanting to write the Communist Manifesto all over again. It was just the most senseless thing. Then you realize this guy was Clinton's labor secretary, and he's an instructor at Harvard or wherever. Anyway, let's grab a phone call quickly. Cape May, New Jersey. We'll start with John. Welcome, sir, to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Regarding the Clinton interview in Time magazine, the operative phrase was Joe Sixpack. The disdain, the contempt. Can you imagine if Reagan or Bush had referred to the electorate as Joe Sixpack? You know, every once in a while, their attitude comes through. Carville with his trailer park trash. Clinton a couple of years ago referred to those people walking around out there. You know, they have utter contempt and disdain, and the people are too stupid to realize they've been taken for a ride.
Ooh, you're really hitting hard there, calling the American people stupid.
He calls him Joe Sixpack.
Well, I think what the president was trying to do, here is the exact quote, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the question from Walter Isaacson at the time. Is there a part of you that regrets not being able to go to court to try to prove your version of events? Clinton. Well, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. Now, I think what Clinton would say if he were to hear your criticism would be shock. I think he would be stunned that you would look at what he said in that light. No, I have great respect for the people of this country. If I were just an average citizen, I'd have had far more rights. I'd have had far more options than I have as the president here. Just a Joe Sixpack, a regular guy. You know I love regular guys. They don't have enough health care and all that. I think he's trying to show his victimized status as the most powerful man in the world and turn it around and say that Joe Sixpack has more options than he does. It's sort of like when he's on Air Force One, flying into St. Louis, complaining to KMOX radio that a radio talk show host, me, El Rushbo, is more powerful than he is, because I have 3 hours on the radio every day, and I can say whatever I want about him, and there's no truth detector, he says. Nobody can respond to it. He feels victimized as the most powerful man in the world, with the most powerful spin machine in the history of the country, with the best and most populated PR machine in the history of the country. He tries to make it sound like he's being victimized by a little radio show from noon to 3 Eastern Time every day. And that's what he's trying to do here. But this one sentence, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. And this, you know, and he's trying to arouse sympathy in people. Oh, yeah, I feel so sorry for him. His name was sullied. His name was dragged through the dirt by this woman. He didn't get a chance to explain his side of the story. And I just, you know, I want to throw up. He could have expressed his side of the story at any time. He's the guy who filed the motion for summary judgment. He's the guy who asked the judge to throw the case out. Also in the Time interview, question: what is the legal justification for invoking executive privilege, not only for yourself, but also for your wife? Clinton: I think you have to ask my counsel's office. Because the first time I learned about a lot of these legal arguments is when I see them in the papers. So he didn't know that they were claiming executive privilege for it. They can't do it. He's the only one who can. And I guarantee you go call Uncle Bob or David Kendall and ask for clarification on executive privilege. They're going to tell you, I can't talk about that. Attorney-client privilege. What? What a flat-out liar.
Hi, Tony Kanza, founder of Blippy Subs and Salads. I'm on the ocean floor with Charlie the tuna from Starkist.
Hey, you're stepping on my fin.
We're announcing that Blippy tuna subs will now be made with 100% Starkist tuna, plus choice toppings all on freshly baked bread.
Tony, what's this knob on your scoop again, huh?
No, don't touch that. Ooh, look at the fishies.
Starkist and Blippy. It's a beautiful thing.
Offer valid at participating restaurants.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
It's time for a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR. The cleanup downtown continues in Goldsboro in the wake of this weekend's De-Celebration Festival. Cold, cloudy weather which plagued the event is being blamed for what event organizers call a record low attendance. The robbery of one of Goldsboro's new pantry stores has law enforcement authorities on the move to find a gunman. Last Monday morning, the intruder robbed the store of cash and beer. He was armed with a handgun. Fortunately, no one was injured in the robbery. The man, around 25 years old, left the parking lot of the store in a blue Chevrolet Celebrity. Police say the criminal was about 6 feet tall and weighed about 185 pounds with a medium build. He also had short hair. Anyone with information about this robbery is asked to call the Goldsboro Police Department or Goldsboro Wayne Crime Stoppers at 735-2255. They have identified the robbery as this week's crime of the week. If you have information that leads to an arrest, a reward up to $1,000 may be yours. Using the telephone book can save you money if you make a habit of using local directory assistance to find telephone numbers. Southern Bell officials say the cost of dialing 411 is going up to 52 cents per call for all directory assistance calls over the 5 allowed at no charge. Telephone marketing executives say the 5 free ones are allowed because from time to time a number simply may not be in the phone book. School leaders are still quiet on why Goldsboro Middle School Principal Patricia Burton was placed on administrative leave while the school was under an audit. Superintendent Jimmy Williams says school administration is aware people want to know why she's not at school, and people want her back. However, state law prohibits the release of information about the matter now. While Williams remains under pressure from the public, he has given reassurance state law will be followed regardless of the circumstances. Williams noted the laws were enacted to protect everyone involved. Tax time for unemployment insurance benefits. All benefits are subject to state and federal income tax. With April 15th just around the corner, local job service office officials say it's a good time to remind recipients all unemployment insurance benefits must be included as income when filing tax returns. Last year was the first full year the Employment Security Commission gave unemployment insurance recipients the option of having taxes withheld from their benefit check. Last year, ESC withheld more than $10 million in federal and state taxes. That's a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR.
Well, it looks like a weak ridge of high pressure will continue to build into the area from the west today. That'll start to pull away toward the east by later in the day tomorrow. Should leave us with sunny skies today, though, along with comfortably mild temperatures and light and variable winds. We'll have highs around 66 to 71. Should be mostly clear and a little chilly overnight tonight. Lows in the low to mid-40s. Then on Tuesday, clouds will be increasing from the south and west, mainly after lunchtime. Highs tomorrow are up a bit to 70 to 75. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Performing my job with flawless broadcast excellence, this is Rush Limbaugh on WGBR. A man, a legend, a way of life. Rush Limbaugh, the latest inductee into the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That'll occur tomorrow in Las Vegas. Tony Snow will be here behind the golden EIB microphone, guest hosting the program. Telephone number, if you'd like to be with us, 800-282-2882. The communion caper continues. Actually has not left the news. The High-ranking officials in the Catholic Church have continued to express shock, dismay, and outrage at the president's taking of communion. He is not a Catholic. His wife is a Methodist. He is a Southern Baptist, and as such, he cannot take communion as he did in Africa. And a lot of people are writing things about it and discussing the various aspects of it in both pro and con ways. The president has his defenders on this. But I'll tell you, there's nothing unusual. This is whatever it takes to get people outraged, I guess we should all be for. If the Catholic Church is finally going to stand up and say the guy is a skunk, then fine. If it takes this to convince people that we're dealing with somebody here who is obviously nothing but in his walking thoughts, no doubt in solitary prayer. And out there, the English Channel is a lone U.S. battleship, stationed strategically so that whenever photographs of the president are taken as he strolls the beach in solemn prayer, that battleship will show up, that lone battleship. The president's strolling along and all of a sudden stops and looks down, reaches an index finger to his mouth, grits his teeth, flexes the facial muscles, bites the lower lip, wipes an eye, and then kneels down. Lo and behold, my friends, what was there was a nice little stack of stones. The only place on the beach any stones could be found. There were no stones on this beach except for where the president just happened to walk. And they were arranged in a nice little pile. And so the president kneeled down, and as though on the spur of the moment, arranged those stones into the shape of a cross. That image captured for the ages via the miracle of Kodachrome, or is it Fuji? Whichever. Videotape as well. We all saw it, and those who fell for it thought, man, oh man, what a guy. But it was as staged and phony as anything else that this man is engaged in. Number two, the president also, during the 50th anniversary celebration of the D-Day invasion at Normandy and so forth, before getting to the French coast, actually went to a military cemetery in Italy, where he was again taking the momentary, solitary stroll through this sacred and hallowed ground, and stopped on a dime, knelt down and got a quizzical look on his face and thought, something's not right. We then see what had captured the president's attention. A little American flag had fallen over. Each of the graves had an American flag standing upright and proper, save for this one. It had fallen over. The president knelt down, picked up that little flag, and planted it properly. In both cases, the stones had been planted on the beach by aides in preparation for the photo op. And at some point, somebody on the president's staff had roamed the cemetery, chosen a grave, and put the flag on the ground for the president to just spontaneously see and then plant it properly. Then there were the crocodile tears at the Ron Brown Memorial Service, which we showed you day in and day out on Rush, the TV show. The President of the United States is captured with a man of the cloth, Tony Campolo, I think is his name, leaving the Ron Brown Memorial Service. Campolo and the President are laughing and talking, they're telling each other jokes, and all of a sudden the President spots a camera. Realizing where he is, he's emerging from a Ron Brown Memorial Service. The President immediately puts on a set, within less time than it took to take one step. He fakes crying, he fakes grief, he fakes anguish. The other guy doesn't pick it up. Mr. Campolo continues to laugh. The joke continues. Clinton fakes tears. Then, of course, the most recent was of Bill and Hillary dancing on the beach down in the Caribbean to music that was not being played. And it was shortly after this photo was released that another bimbo eruption occurred. I forget whether it was, I think it was Monica. I think wasn't this around Christmas time? And now we've got the fake and phony taking of communion. There is no substance to the man's life at all. It's all spin. It's all showbiz. It's all photo ops. And you live by the photo op, you die by the photo op. Now imagine in any of these situations, just imagine communion. Imagine that if it were Dan Quayle. Can you imagine the dumb jokes that would have followed? Imagine it were George Bush. Can you imagine the aloof jokes which would have followed? He's so aloof, he's so out of touch, he doesn't even know that as a non-Catholic he cannot take communion. And imagine if it were Ronald Reagan. Well, you know, he's so out of it. The man's losing his mind. Hell, he never was there in the first place. The guy sleeps all the time. All of the out-of-it jokes, which only proves that the president is dumb, aloof, and out of it. If that's what they would say about those three people, then we'd have to say that the president is himself those things, although no one else will. Here is Julie in Pittsburgh. Julie, I'm glad you waited. Welcome to the EIB network.
Rush, this is such a thrill. I have to thank my mom, Jackie, in Poland, Ohio, for turning me onto your program. My comment, your prior caller beat me to the punch. I was so appalled when I read in the Post-Gazette this morning that Clinton referred to the average American as Joe Sixpack. I mean, that just betrays such an elitist attitude on behalf of this administration. I think they think that no rules apply to them. Everything that applies to the average person does not apply to Clinton. That attitude has been pervasive throughout his entire administration, and I wanted to call to see what you thought about that comment.
Well, I'm glad people are picking this up because it's been one of my central themes that the liberals in this country have really duped the middle class, working people of America into thinking that they, the liberals, care about them and that they are their champions. And if it weren't for us liberals looking out for you middle-class folks like those rich Republicans just walk all over you, would take everything you've got, would take away your health care, your kids would starve at lunch, and environmental policies would end up killing you. We are your champions. We care about you. We have your interests at heart, blah, blah, blah. And I've always maintained that liberals look at everybody with contempt. They look out across America and they see a land of incompetence. They see a land of people who are incapable of making decisions necessary to get through life. They see people in need. They see people who are dependent. They see people who are not very bright. They look out at America and see greatness in what government has done to save the country from its people. And I think the liberals are the biggest elitists on the face of the earth. So I'm happy to see that people pick up on this Joe Sixpack comment, but I will tell you that I think the more important thing to realize here from this quote is to not get lost on the Joe Sixpack side, but to remember the sentence in which he said it. Again, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. The bigger point is that the President of the United States is trying to convince you that he was denied an opportunity to tell his side of the Paula Jones story, when in fact the President of the United States is the man who filed the motion for summary judgment, which in essence asks for the case to be thrown out, and in fact the President of the United States is the man who did everything he could to have this case thrown out. He did everything he could to avoid explaining his side of the story, and now that it's over, he says he regrets that he did not have a chance. That, I mean, how about the intelligence that he insults every day? You can get upset at the Joe Sixpack comment, and it's good that you do, I guess. But he's insulting your intelligence. And that's what I think people apparently are failing to miss. That's all right, though. It's all right. I'm used to that. I'm here to point it out and make sure the point is driven home, which I'm really good at doing. I mean, I'm really good at driving points. So I'm good at driving, period. Golf ball, car, whatever. I'm good at driving. Driving issues, I'm good at it. I'll drive this home if I have to, because that's the key. We got a quick break. We'll be back with more in a moment, folks. Stay with us.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
I know you care about your child or teenager's future, so I'm about to ask you to do something special. Now, the world today is more competitive than ever. For your child to stand out in school, to rise above the others, he or she will need superior reading, spelling, and reading comprehension skills. Getting these skills is as easy as playing a game. It's called the phonics game. Now, before you get too busy, I want you to call my friends at the phonics game and order one of their advanced reading systems. Why? Well, because the phonics game builds superior reading skills, and that means that your kids will breeze through books and homework. Studying will become easier and more enjoyable. And there's not enough time to tell you about the spelling skills that could place your child at the top of the class. You're going to have to find that out for yourself. Look, order the phonics game now, and with your order, you'll receive the advanced comprehension game. It's a $30 value free. Here's the number, 800-243-READ. 800-243-READ. That's 800-243-READ.
Now, more than ever, you can be sure that Price sells cars at Leith Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep Eagle, Leith Dodge Isuzu. Right now, all Jeep Grand Cherokees and Isuzu Rodeos are priced at $500 below invoice. Not only that, but all 98 Dodge Caravans, Plymouth Voyagers, Chrysler Town & Country, Dodge Dakotas, and Jeep Cherokees at invoice. Plus, you keep any rebate. These deals with vehicles in stock only. Yes, Price sells cars at Leith Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep Eagle, Leith Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 west of Goldsboro.
Police Department, Sergeant John speaking.
Oh, please come quick. They're holding me hostage.
Now, calm down, ma'am. Can you try to describe them?
They're brown, ugly, and have antennas.
Ma'am?
They're roaches.
Roaches? Is that your last name?
That's their only name. They're bugs, for goodness sake.
Well, you don't need the police. You need Griffin Exterminating. They can wipe out any pest problem you've got.
Even a leech?
You've got leeches, too.
Just one.
Ma'am?
My brother-in-law.
For all your pest problems, call Griffin Exterminating. Whether it's termites, fleas, or roaches, Griffin Exterminating is sure to come to the rescue. Call 735-3928.
Well, hi, the 360 guy here with a few thoughts on simplicity. You know, ever since I was a child, people have called me simple. Now I want to share my simplicity tips with you. First, think futon. It's a bed, it's a couch, it's a wrestling mat. Next, get a bundled value pack from 360 Communications. For just $28.95 a month, you'll get 120 cellular minutes a month for a whole year. And you'll get residential and cellular long-distance rates as low as 9 cents a minute. And you get everything on one bill. Pretty simple, huh?
Right now, you can get 360 Communications' new bundled value pack for only $28.95 a month. You'll get 120 cellular minutes per month for a year. Plus, you'll get both residential and cellular long-distance rates as low as 9 cents a minute. See store newspaper for details. Offer ends April 30th.
Well, next time I'll show you how to simplify your wardrobe with clip-on ties.
360 is proud to partner with Ronald McDonald House Charities. When you sign up for cellular service, you not only help yourself, you'll help others. Through April 19th, 360 will donate your $10 activation fee to Ronald McDonald House Charities.
WGBR.
Recognized by many as the finest radio talk show host on the air today, it's El Rushmore, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-caring, all-feeling, all-concerned Maharishi, to Troy, Ohio. This is Al. You're next, sir. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Ditto,
Good.
Rush. Hey, this is the first time in history we've been, thanks to Clinton, we have the opportunity for a new term and a new concept called secret executive privilege. And unlike Nixon, President Clinton hasn't even had the courage to declare executive privilege right out in the open. And it reminds me of some of the old Maxwell Smart comedies where they would get into the dome of silence and talk about secrets. But
you think it's going to matter to the American people?
No, not unless in some way they see the silliness of it. It's sort of like the jokes that went on in the dome. Well, don't talk about it, boss, anymore because it won't be a secret anymore. And,
the jokes that went on in the dome, what am I missing?
Oh, the old Maxwell Smart episodes where the comedy was about the secret nature of government business. And it's so silly and it's so insulting that they're going to declare something such as executive privilege
Yeah, but you know, my sense is that the American people are very defensive for the president on this. Well, he shouldn't. You know, all these people attacking him, he ought to be able to do whatever he can to protect himself. I mean, there's all sorts of people trying to destroy him. I mean, why should the president? Why should he tell his story? Why do we want the president to be the first defendant in the history of America to admit it? I mean, he's got every right to defend himself like everybody else, and if that means claiming executive privilege, I mean, I think it's right that we don't know about it. I think that's the sense. In fact, I'll say something else. How many of you saw Meet the Press yesterday? The latest, if you missed it, here's the latest from the presidential camp from James Carville. And I want to point something out to you, my friends, and I don't know, you people here probably know this, but for those of you in this audience who are not political students, and you don't pay daily attention to this stuff, you may watch Meet the Press now and then. James Carville is not an objective, dispassionate analyst. James Carville is a partisan participant on the president's side of things. And yesterday, Carville amplified on some things that he has been mentioning around the edges for the past week or so. And that is that the testimony that David Hale in Arkansas, who is a key Whitewater witness, and some others who have had incriminating things to say about the president, including some of the women, the bimbos, have been paid to say it. He is very blunt now in suggesting that there has been payola, meaning I'm going to pay you and I want you to say this. He hasn't yet, I don't believe, taken the accusation to its conclusion, which is they were paid to lie. I think what he's so far said is that, well, yeah, that testimony was sure they said what they said, but they were paid for it. They were given money to go out there and to say what they said. I think what he's going to get to eventually is they were lying out there. They weren't going to tell a story these right-wingers wanted to hear. So the right-wingers got some money from Scape and all these guys at GoPack, and they got this money to get out there, and they went and go to pay these guys off, these troopers and everything. These troopers were paid to lie, and they lied about it out there. And they went out and made things up, and they did it for money. That's what I'm going to prove. I think it's the next thing is going to happen. I haven't been wrong yet, Tim. Now, therefore, money has been brought into this. And I sense, I had a conversation with F. Lee Levin today on the phone before the program started, because F. Lee was outraged about this. And I said, F. Lee, I tell you something, you had better prepare yourself. If you're outraged about it, you're going to get even more outraged, because given the polling numbers that we see, I think that once the allegation is made, the Clinton defenders and some of the fence straddlers are going to believe it, whether there's evidence or not. And Carville knows this. He's throwing the allegation out, and now it's going to be believed. And so of course, the anti-Clinton side kept on the defensive, or will be and is kept on the defensive. I'll give you an example of it, and this was pretty good yesterday on CNN's Sunday show with Wolf Blitz. In their roundtable, Susan Page, who writes for USA Today, started attacking Ken Starr. And she was attacking Ken Starr before his decision to indict Monica Lewinsky, name Clinton as an unindicted co-conspirator, and get his story out that way. Tony Blankley, who is now editor-at-large for George Magazine and a former spokesman for Mr. Newt, said, well, wait a minute, Starr hasn't done that. Why are you attacking Starr? Starr hasn't done that. All we've got is a magazine report, U.S. News and World Report, which says that Starr's thinking about it. The U.S. News mentioned that there's an argument inside Starr's office, whether to indict Monica or not, whether to present the case to the House or whether to indict Monica. You're attacking Starr. And Blankley said, this is one of the things that bothers me. Starr, we don't know what Starr's got. We don't know what Starr's going to do. And yet Starr's already been criticized for things he hasn't done. And this is how this stuff grabs and takes hold. And I suspect the same thing with Carville's claim here, that money has changed hands in exchange for testimony. You can have a lot of people who believe it, simply because Carville said it. So, if money is out there, and it always is, follow the money. If money is out there, shouldn't we go on the offensive here rather than be on the defensive out this? Well, we don't know about this. I can't. You know, the problem is that there probably are some extreme people out there who would pay to get some untruths told about Clinton, such as their hatred for him. They probably would pay that. That's the problem with this. But I'll tell you what, the White House is paying a lot of money to get a lot of people to say things which aren't true. How come that didn't stick? We got these private eyes. We go, but let's take Dick Morris's comments on equal time last week. With federal matching funds, said Dick Morris, and he used Betsy Wright, the Bimbo Eruptions Unit head, as his proof, because she told him, according to Morris, that they had hired private eyes, $100,000 to go hire private eyes, find these women, and make sure that they would sign affidavits saying that they had never had affairs with Clinton. Well, what's that? That's paying money for testimony. Where's the same sense of outrage? Where is it, I ask you? It ought to be there. If the White House as early as, they weren't even the White House then, if the campaign as early as 1992, and we know it worked then, they've probably continued it now, who knows who they're paying to shut up? Who knows who they're paying and with whose money to suppress testimony? But Carville's going to turn around and make it sound like the only place that's happening is on these extreme right wings. We know these people are capable of doing it. We know the White House is capable of paying people to lie or paying them to shut up. Quick break, back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network. We're here at Government Operations in Washington.
Scalpel.
Right here, Congressman.
Sutures.
Oops. Here, sir.
There. My new experiment in healthcare reform.
Remarkable. You've stitched together hundreds of new government mandates, putting Washington in control of everyone's health care.
Our creation is reviving.
Congressman, the healthcare system we've created.
Frankenstein's monster.
Washington should be careful how it plays doctor with your health care. Claiming to protect consumers, the White House and some in Congress want costly big government mandates that would leave millions unprotected. One bill alone would force premiums up an average 23%, causing another 5 million Americans to lose their coverage. That's frightening.
Let's rethink our approach to health care.
Please hurry.
Tell Congress to oppose health care mandates before it's too late. America can't afford another big government experiment. It's too scary. Paid for by the Health Benefits Coalition for affordable choice and quality.
Goldsboro Nissan maintains one of the largest inventories of new Nissans in this part of the state. They deal in volume, so they sell for less. Their prices are so low, chances are with approved credit, you won't need any down payment. Goldsboro Nissan offers you the greatest buys in pre-owned cars and trucks. Where else can you buy 96 and 97 program Nissans up to $3,000 below book value? Trade-in values, financing terms, rock-bottom prices on new and pre-owned vehicles, and this area's best credit rebuilding program are at Goldsboro Nissan, period. That's Goldsboro Nissan, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro. Sometimes you just can't be in front of a television to watch WRAL TV5 News, but that doesn't mean you have to miss the coverage you count on every day.
Good afternoon.
WRAL TV5 is teamed up with a network of radio stations across the state to bring you 5 News wherever you are. In Goldsboro, turn to 1150 WGBR at 6. Turn to the WRAL TV5 Radio News Network for coverage you can count on.
Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
Poultry packages in the grocery store. Now you might be saying to yourself, why another label? Good question. And the answer is for your good health. Sure, you know how to cook up a hamburger, but do you remember to wash your hands before and after you handle that meat? When you're eating out, do you ask that your burger be cooked all the way through? Or do you say, just cook it till the cow stops mooing? Well, the Department of Agriculture has been studying food-borne illnesses, and they found out that what our mothers said was true.
Wash your hands, cook the meat thoroughly, and put it back in the fridge when you're done with it.
Heck, my mother would be proud of the folks at Agriculture. They're picking up where she left off. So go ahead, read and follow the new label. Why? Because your mother would want you to.
See, there's not enough time to be fair with another caller, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't see anybody up there that I'd like to be unfair with. And so that means we won't take another call. Coming up in the monologue in the next hour, we'll have a little bit about El Nino. It was not nearly as bad as you might think it was, nor was it as bad as predicted, nor was it worse than the two previous winters. You may not want to hear it, but we'll have it for you anyway.
Goldsboro Nissan maintains one of the largest inventories of new Nissans in this part of the state. They deal in volume, so they sell for less. Their prices are so low, chances are with approved credit, you won't need any down payment. Goldsboro Nissan offers you the greatest buys in pre-owned cars and trucks. Where else can you buy 96 and 97 program Nissans up to $3,000 below book value? Trade-in values, financing terms, rock-bottom prices on new and pre-owned vehicles, and this area's best credit rebuilding program are at Goldsboro Nissan, period. That's Goldsboro Nissan, Highway 70 West, Goldsboro.
Sometimes